In this week's episode, we talk about the sun making the opposition to Jupiter. It happens every year, and it's my favorite day of this month. Self-promote, raise your head and speak. Trust that you can't overdo it. Then we talk about the retrograde of Uranus, finally making his movement to go backwards. And then finally, the full moon at 29 degrees of Aquarius. Do you? To hear more of this week's transits, tune in to the episode of Astrological Intentions.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Astrological Intentions. I am your host, Alex Reevy, along with the Perseids pedestrian herself, Sandy Reevy.
That's true. Hi, everybody. Have you been out watching?
It is August 16th and episode 160. Let's get right into it. In the transits, we have Wednesday, August 18th, Mercury conjunct Mars.
Do what you think.
Sandy's favorite day, Thursday, August 19th, Sun opposing Jupiter.
Self-promote today.
Thursday, August 19th, Uranus Retrograde.
Yes. Does this mean chaos slows to a stop?
And Friday,
or reacts more.
And Friday, August 20th, Mercury trine Uranus.
You have some time here.
And Sunday, August 22nd, Mars trine Uranus.
Sysiphus.
And the full moon in Aquarius.
Do you?
And Sun ingress Virgo.
Put a dimmer on the light.
Then Monday, August 23rd, Venus trine Saturn.
I like it.
Then Talisman time, Sandy has finished up to agree on family land purchase, to agree on family members regarding ancestral property, and a new upcoming to unify friends as family. Then on the horizon, we have our September astrology forecast, a free event you won't want to miss, as well as our Mexico retreat with Sandy, January 1st through January 8th. Then in our house, I am back from the Ladies World Championship. Hear how I did and some other news. Stay tuned for this episode of Astrological Intentions.
So you finally know you control where you go.
Hello, Perseids pedestrian. Did I say that right?
Yes. Perseids. I don't know.
Perseids. Okay.
It's Perseids, Perseids. It has a lot of people say a lot of different things. So I think when we say Perseids meteor showers, that people, can like what you call that, like tug your ear, like it sounds like.
Right.
But yeah, it was the strong showing last weekend, like yesterday, if you're listening on time, and the day before. And I would get up there and, you could see it as soon as the sun goes down and it got kind of dark, that, you see Venus up there, bright and sparkly, shiny. And I mean, I kept my eyes open, and do you know how hard it is to stare into space and keep your eyes open?
You get tired.
You get tired. It's like, I just want to sleep with my eyes open, and something will catch my periphery, and I'll turn, and that will be a shower. Never saw one.
Right.
Never saw one. And I was out there for quite a while, and finally I'm like, and I actually did fall asleep, which is rare that I fell asleep, like sitting up.
Okay, well, I did want to go direct to all of you listeners before we started this podcast. The last time we actually talked a little bit about doing a family manifesto, like kind of having a mission statement for the family. And Karen here emailed me and wanted to share. So she writes, "Hi, Alex, you mentioned creating a family mission statement on today's podcast. I remember you mentioning it once before months ago, but both times it made me think of the work of Brene Brown, who has a multiple of statements just like that. This time I actually got around to sending it to you. Have a wonderful day, and thank you for all your energy and inspiration." So she sent me her her wholehearted parenting manifesto. And I just think it's something worth sharing. It's a little bit longer, but I think that it's a beautiful way to go about, because we have mission statements about business and all of these, you know, places of our lives, but do we really have either a parenting manifesto or a family manifesto?
Mhm.
So yeah, so excited to read this.
Yeah, it's amazing. And then I want to make a comment after you read this, that I reached out to Leslie Hetherington in the UK, who is a brilliant writer of, you know, statements, mission statements, legacy statements, vision statements. And, you know, I had a conversation with her about family. And so I'll share you the tidbits she gave me when we're done, when you're done
Okay.
reading this.
All right. So above all else, I want you to know that you are loved and lovable. You will learn this from my words and actions. The lessons on love are in how I treat you and how I treat myself. I want you to engage with the world from a place of worthiness. You will learn that you are worthy of love and belonging and joy. Every time you see me, practice self-compassion and embrace my own imperfections. We will practice courage in our family by showing up, letting ourselves be seen, and honoring vulnerability. We will share our stories of struggle and strength. There will always be room in our house for both. We will teach you compassion by practicing compassion with ourselves first, then with each other. We will set and respect boundaries. We will honor hard work, hope, and perseverance. Rest and play will be family values as well as family practices. You will learn accountability and respect by watching me make mistakes and making amends, and by watching how I ask for what I need and talk about how I feel. I want you to know joy. So together we will participate and practice in gratitude. I want you to feel joy. So together we will learn how to be vulnerable. When uncertainty and scarcity visit, you will be able to draw from the spirit that is a part of our everyday life. Together we will cry and face fear and grief. I will want to take away your pain, but instead I will sit with you and teach you how to feel it. We will laugh and sing and dance and create. We will always have permission to be ourselves with one another. No matter what, you will always belong here. As you begin your wholehearted journey, the greatest gift that I can give to you is to live and love with my whole heart and to dare greatly. I will not teach or love or show you anything perfectly, but I will let you see me, and I will always hold sacred the gift of seeing you, truly, deeply seeing you. Ah, so good.
Right in the center, right?
Yes, I
What
love
a
that.
what a beautiful. I thought you were going to start crying.
I was close.
That's beautiful. That is so beautiful. And it's really cool if you could, you know, build your own. And so, like I said, I reached out to Leslie Hetherington and asked her, because she actually helps people write, or businesses write their company mission statement, and personal individuals write their family statements. And she said, just really, the simpler, the better. If you had 2 sentences, and I know this is like a prayer that you just read, Brene Brown's, which is this beautiful poetic prayer that, you know, that could hang up on a wall. But if you also had something that was, take 2 sentences of that, right, and to build something that everyone around the kitchen table agrees to, and what the family stands for. And she said, but if you can almost write your legacy statement first, which means what do you want to pass on to the next generation, then that family statement can follow through from generation to generation, so that your children can pass it on to their children, that pass it on to their children. And actually, you know, she didn't say this part, but to actually have, you know, something, a plaque made, you know, or the you know, coins made, something, a necklace or something, a t-shirt that holds this energy, something that is that is hanging up in the front in the front foyer of the house, that it just says,
Mhm.
this is what our family stands for.
Right.
Right.
And how
I love
cool.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. So
So shall we begin? Shall we
yes,
begin in the
going direct.
transits?
Oh yeah. Oh no, that's right. We finished in going direct.
So in the transits, we have Wednesday, August 18th, Mercury conjunct Mars.
Do what you think here. This is at 10:28 p.m. So it's in the evening, right around bedtime. And usually the term is think before you act, or think before you do. Your moves today are calculated, and with the thinker in his own sign of discernment, meeting up with the Mars, that this Mercury pushes Mars and the action taker follows what the thinker is wanting him to do. So, you can blend when you're doing, astrological interpretations. You can take, the planet of Mercury, the thinker, and then the planet of the action taker, Mars. And when they group together every year, or unless maybe it's 3 times, because Mercury is in a retrograde cycle around that time, he is not here. He's in his own sign of Virgo. So that's why the Mercury, the thinker, says, do what you think, not think before you do.
Mm.
Because Mercury is giving, the thinker is giving action to Mars. It's not the opposite way, that Mars is making the aspect and conjuncting the Mercury in your natal chart. But it's the faster moving planet hitting the slower moving planet. So do what you think, quick.
Right. And so the next day, Thursday, August 19th, is actually your favorite day. And we start out with the sun opposing Jupiter.
Yeah, this is when the planet Jupiter gets any planet that is a superior planet that is opposite from the sun means that it's closest to the earth. And this happens in the evening around 7:30, and it's about self-promote. So all day long on Thursday, during the morning, during the afternoon. And I call to the shy ones here, raise your head and speak. Trust me that you cannot overdo it. Not you shy ones. Watch too much telling about your accolades, especially when you're trying to help others. Because if you already are a Leo sun, the sun rules Leo, and making that opposition to Jupiter, which he makes once a year. And, this time it's while the sun is in his own sign. It's a really great day to show yourself, promote yourself, share something, be adventurous. Again, stretching a little bit more than you would normally would. So taking a leap of faith on this day. And that's why it's my favorite day.
And also that same day, there's also Uranus retrograde.
Yes, finally, this planet, the planet Uranus, who likes change. Uranus does not want to do anything slow, so if he doesn't want to do things slow, we already know he doesn't want to do things in a standing still position. And he finally gets to literally only here. He's pivoting. He's only like whatever that pirouette that a ballerina would do, and just facing. There's actually a step. When I used to do modeling, gosh, back when I was under 20 years old, that there was a step that you would get to the end of a runway and you would, turn, and then there was a double turn you could make. But this I'm talking about is just the pivot turn. I forget what the name of that is, but trust me, I didn't have to do it a lot. I wasn't up there on stage too much, but the Uranus has been literally sitting at 14 degrees of Taurus since July 6th. And he stays at this 14-degree Taurus till October 3rd. So if we count those weeks, that's 13 weeks. The planet of change and revolutionary, quick lightning bolt breakthroughs is at 1 degree for 13 weeks. That's a long time, especially for anyone who has a birthday around May 5th. May 5th babies have a 14-degree Taurus sun. So we know that Uranus is sitting on your sun. And I know a handful of people that have this, and they are going through what's the next step. Something that was on the table came off of the table, and now they got to think about their next move. So yeah, a lot of, does chaos slow to a stop? Or and if chaos slows to a stop, change then slows to a stop? Or does it intensify because it has no release? It has nowhere to go. So it really is, what you're looking at is his movement over the last 7 months, where he is maybe trying to come to a solution, or he's going back over those areas in the chart. It's just a few degrees. He's going from 14 degrees till about 10 degrees of Taurus. So if anybody has planets around that area, I know I do, and I have a big fat midheaven point there as well. That things are churning up. Things are there's breakthroughs. There's a change that needs to happen. And how are you engaging with it? Do you feel like you've come to a standstill or a stop? Or you need to express that energy through your body, through your singing, through your movement, something. Freedom, some sort of breakthrough.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it's an interesting day that these two things are happening on Thursday, the 19th. Yeah. And this Uranus will retrograde all the way until mid-January.
So we got a while with this.
So we got a while, but it's just during this July 6th through this October 3rd where you feel like you're ready to do something. Like, let's go. Come on. And Uranus hasn't moved. And so is it stuck energy? And how do you deal with that?
And Friday, August 20th, the next day, we have Mercury trine Uranus. So the Mercury that was conjunct Mars before earlier this week is now trining Uranus, who is now in retrograde. Tell us about that.
Yeah. And it sounds like, again, that Mercury making that trine to Uranus is that quick thinking, great ideas, discovery of some sort. But I just said that Uranus is stationary. He isn't moving. So is this one way for one who you guys that are listening to this can actually express? Now, this is at 3:00 in the morning. So I'm not saying you got to do it at 3:00 in the morning, but I'm wondering if you're having a trouble sleeping on this Thursday night into Friday morning. But continue to speak up at what you're discovering. Your conversations are radical and exciting. You may not be able to move on them real fast, but there's a lot of information coming in. Yeah.
So it is that feeling of like, I've got some time to make my decision.
I've got a decision. Oh, I've got the answer, but do I need to ask myself in a different way so I can maybe ponder the answer? Okay. Right? Because you can get another stream of thought flow back in, because Uranus is
in retrograde
and stationary. He doesn't move for another. He doesn't start moving for another 7 weeks.
And Sunday, August 22nd, we have 3 transits going on. The first, Mars trine Uranus.
Sisyphus. I love mythology, and the god Sysiphus, who was banned, and his job was to push up a boulder up.
I think it was his punishment.
It was his punishment. No, it was his punishment.
Yeah.
And he had to do it. He did it in the morning, and by the end of the day, he would get up to the top of the hill, and he
Push
would
the boulder all the way up the mountain.
all the
Wow.
way, the sweat, the will, the determination, and then to get to the top, let it go, and it rolled back down the hill. And his job the next day is to do it again. And it
Mhm.
continued to happen. So what are you pushing up a hill? And I bet you can get there, and you may have some surprise help, because that Mars is making that trine to Uranus. So that Mars, this is all in trines with the earth signs. And so this Mars is having this like effect of, pushing something heavy, like tangible, up a hill. But I bet if you ask, you get somebody to help you. Yeah. Or somebody comes in and says, hey, buddy, do you need help? So be aware of saying yes to someone that comes in to help you with this.
And the full moon in Aquarius is happening the same day.
This is at 29 degrees of Aquarius. And just interesting that this is the second full moon in Aquarius. Our last full moon was July 23rd at 1 degree Aquarius. And now we're at the 29 degree Aquarius. Now, it is not a blue moon because it didn't happen in the same month. It happened within a month, one in July and then one in August here. So this is at 7:02 a.m. exactly, full moon. So you'll be able to watch the sky. This will be an interesting one, because when the sun rises in the east, that's when you'll see the biggest moon setting in the west. So check that out, because the full moon is moving with Jupiter. So, if you can get up, even if you can get up, if you can get up at, say, what time does the sun get up about that time? I don't know. I should probably look at that. But if you got up at 5:30,
Right.
quarter to 6, the sun, because the sun's coming up, later and later, because we're moving closer and closer to the fall, that get up before the sun comes up and you'll be able to see big bright moon with Jupiter right next to it.
Pretty.
And so, do you, you can, there's like, do you exclamation point, do you question mark, do you period, right? Right? Because you are the one that can reach the masses. So the question is, do you, or do you?
Right.
So be a part of that. That's your challenge.
And it's an invitation too.
Yeah, well, I call it a challenge and you call it an invitation. So get up that morning on Sunday morning. It's a Sunday morning. Get up before the sun rises and be available to that moon and that Jupiter sitting right there.
And still, same day, this is the third out of the 3 transits. The sun ingresses Virgo. Happy birthday, Virgos.
Happy birthday. And this really is a shift, because and this happens every year, right around this time, maybe on this date, maybe the day before, maybe the day after the 22nd, when the sun moves out of the previous sign where, the sun is right now is in Leo. And so the sun rules Leo. So the sun is very bright and shiny and, hot, too hot, maybe. And now it goes into the next sign where now we need a dimmer on the light. So it's really about like making adjustments, like that. A dimmer, you can twist it a little bit this way or a little bit that way, or toggle it up and down, just to make the perfect ambiance, or whatever it is you're needing to do. If you need more of the romance, tune down the light, because it is moving out of that masculine fire fixed sign of Leo, where it knows how to shine, as I mentioned, and into that earth mutable and feminine nocturnal. So now it needs to adjust and get moving that way. So it really can be a time to again, ask for support, ask for help, ask, does anybody need help? Right? Because you're trying to help others organize here to get situated.
Yes. And we also have a little bonus transit that's happening early next Monday. That's August 23rd, Venus trine Saturn.
I know this is early in the morning. This is at 7:48 a.m. And I like this. This is, you know, the two planets that are of commitment. Venus is in her own sign of Libra. So she is the goddess of art, beauty, and relationships. And she's in her own sign of Libra. And she's very comfortable, sweet, and charming here. And she is making this really nice trine of ease and harmony to Saturn. And Saturn is also in his own sign of Aquarius, but he's retrograde. So Saturn can help establish her on what she wants to do for any planning, future planning. So if you're talking about, you know, a long-term relationship, this is a time to kind of come together and make a commitment, you know, with one of your loved ones or all of your loved ones, as a matter of fact. You know, again, it could be family. It's just all the people you love. It doesn't just necessarily have to be your intimate relationship. It's
and
kind of, yeah.
So let's move on to some talisman times. So you finished up 2 very agreeable talismans. The first is to agree on family land purchase.
Yeah, this was also a long night, or I was up the entire night. This started at 5:15 a.m. Yeah, to agree on the family land purchase. And I said land, but you know, it could be a home, it could be just property of any kind. I like the word land because we've got Venus in the sign of the earth sign in the 4th house of family and the domestic living situation. And it's in the affirmation. This is where we shall live. Our family has grown to this point. We all take our notice of the efforts we all contribute. We flourish here. And that word is contribute. This is where we shall live. Our family has grown to this point. We all take our notice of the efforts we all contribute. We flourish here. Yeah. So I made one small bead bracelet and then stayed up for the next one,
which is another agreeable talisman. So Wednesday, August 11th, to agree on plans with family members regarding ancestral property.
Now, this is very similar to, again, we got that Venus and the moon making that application to Venus sitting right on the IC, which is the 4th house, about ancestral family legacy, past, the past people that were here before us. We are the ones to make this decision. We wholeheartedly feel we are doing the right thing. Our lineage is proud of us and who we have become. So whatever decisions or agreements that we say are with the family members that are in ownership or maybe of an inheritance from some ancestral property that have long since left the planet, they have left this for them. And they're making a decision here. What are they going to be doing? Are they going to, you know, renovate it, live in it, sell it, create a historic monument, something? But they feel like they're doing the right thing. And they are feeling that their lineage, the people that have built this original place, are proud of the people that they have become. I really like this. It was just a really nice whole. I got up at 12:30 and didn't go to sleep till about 4:30. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, but it was all about that energy. So let's talk about the one. I only have one coming up this week.
And that's Tuesday, August 17th, to unify friends as family.
Yeah, and thanks, Nina Griffin, for this. To unify friends as family. I consider and act upon the situations that weave all my favorite people together as the delightful, colorful creation that exists. I stand back to admire.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Because I feel and I hope that we've all been in those places where we look around the table and we just are overflowing with that feeling of love, because those are precious moments.
Yeah, and it's, you're bringing friends together, some family members, some people that you would, like you just said, envision around the table, which, makes me think of that Thanksgiving um, scene from,
Friendsgiving. Oh,
well, no, the Thanksgiving scene in Italy from Eat, Pray, Love.
oh, right.
Right? When they just look around the table and just say, there is no way in hell I would have known any of you people had I not made it, had I not gone to Italy to see what is here for me. And there was something. And it's just I might have to watch that again today.
It's a beautiful story.
Beautiful scene.
And everybody, don't forget that we have our talisman of the month to make alliances and plan a successful route. That is on the website currently. And let's move into some announcements on the horizon. August 28th, we have our September astrology forecast that is on Facebook Live, where Sandy and Susan come together, giving you all of the dates for September that you need to know, as well as we are going to be shortly and soon having our downloadable cheat sheet. It's a PDF where you can download, have it on your computer, or print it yourself and follow along with Sandy and Susan's notes. Then January 1st through January 8th, we have our Mexico retreat with Sandy. This is our second or third announcement here, where we are creating this opportunity of a retreat / vacation.
I've named it something.
Okay.
Retreatication.
Retreatication. It's the retreatication. We have our early bird deadline that's ending August 31st. So click those links in the description if you want more info or you want to secure your spot with a deposit. We do only have a limited amount left, maybe 1 or 2 slots. So make sure to get your seat covered. So
your room, your beautiful bed, your place by the pool, your seat in the jacuzzi, your paddleboard, your snorkeling gear, your place at the sweat lodge. Yeah, get your flight. Some of us have our flights already. Exciting, even though it feels like it's kind of far away, but we need to anticipate, right?
yes.
Yeah.
So let's move into our house, where I have some big news.
Yes, let's share. Oh my gosh, Alex, let me
So-
just start with this. And I know a lot of the people that are listening right now have tuned in because they have followed you on Facebook and have started to see some of these live, your pool tournament that, you were recording or you were Facebook living it. I have to tell you how exciting this was for me. To be able to click on or know when you would be playing and that you were the second in the line, your team, your captain went first and then you played second. You usually wrapped up the team for a win. And
right,
so
because it was who could win in the first 2 out of 3 games.
So start with, you got there on whatever, Sunday.
I got there on Sunday, and it was Monday through Thursday, NonStop Pool. So unfortunately, our first and very primary match, we played against these fabulous ladies. They are the Pretty in Purple group, and I think their youngest team member was 59. And their oldest was 73, about to be 74. And they were so nice, so willing, but also incredibly talented. They knocked us out the first match, which luckily we were able to recuperate with the losers bracket. So it was surprising and shocking, but these ladies really had incredible talent. I couldn't even believe that so if you know what a kick shot is, it means you're hitting the cue ball, it hits the rail first and then comes back and hits a ball.
Okay, I didn't know
So
that.
so Joyce, the 73-year-old, she was on the 8 ball against one of our really strong players, is playing Joyce. And the 73-year-old who's, I mean, you can only imagine. We got this like 30 something versus the 73-year-old, and she's on the 8 ball. All she needs is this 8 ball in the pocket and she wins, Joyce.
Yeah.
So she kicks off the rail, and I'm not even kidding you. It wasn't even like a bobble into the pocket, like, because that's usually like a kick shot when you're at our level, our amateur level. It's still an incredible shot, but hers was like pristine, like an arrow into the target, into the bullseye.
Oh,
it was just a wow. It was wow. So,
yeah,
but not
won.
only did she won, and that was one of the games, but she did that again for the ultimate, like
Win.
last nail in the coffin for us.
And you lost that match.
We lost that set, and then we got knocked into the losers bracket. However, what we did from there was pretty spectacular. We rose up all the way back, because you actually have to play more games in the losers bracket than you do if you're undefeated in the regular winners bracket. And so we had to climb back. Like, this was a Sysiphus type of effort. So the boulder had already rolled down the mountain, and we had to pick it back up and return all the way to 3rd place. So we were only one game away from being televised, being streamed on a national platform. So it was such a cool experience. Really, our team came together. We supported each other. We encouraged one another, and it was pretty incredible. There were some of the people that came by to watch our matches kept coming up to me saying, "Alex, you nearly gave me heart attacks," because a lot of the games wound up being close. We had some tough competition out there. But well,
there were 300 women. Well, they were all women. So 300 teams.
300 teams.
And you got, you kept knocking after getting in that losers bracket. You kept rising and rising, like you said, Sysiphus rising. And then you made it back into the winners bracket. And it seemed like, the captain would play, and then you would play, and then no other teammate would need to play, because you won in those with those 2 players. And then you're like running to the next table, or maybe you forgot to eat, or you didn't have time to eat. It was just like, oh my gosh, but you always set up your tripod and your phone and did a Facebook Live. And I just remember the one match that you played in was 2.5 hours long.
And they can be that long.
And then I thought you were done. It was like 11 o'clock here. I'm falling asleep, and you won. And
we had another match.
You had another match. And I found out the next morning you won that. And then you went into Thursday, and then you won that. And then you get to that second last game, and it's kind of like you could almost pinpoint when it flipped, right? It was like everybody must have been tired.
We were all exhausted.
Yeah.
And really so we, in the semifinals, which was, the fight for the possibility for first place, we lost that semifinal game. What happened was our first teammate, she won, and I came back, and this was like the normal circuit. Like, she would be the opener, and then I would be the closer. And normally what would happen is I would win, and then we would be like, okay, we're at 2 out of 2, we won. If I would ever lose, it would go into sudden death from there, which sudden death, you don't play an amount of games. You just, whoever wins first between you and your opponent, which it's pretty intimidating, because you can have a very high skill level person playing a very low skill level person. which gets intimidating. So I unfortunately lost that semifinal game personally. And so we went into sudden death, and we threw our teammate, who she's so strategic. She's the one that gives us like all the coaches. She's, you know, she's right on point. So we were like thinking that she would have this, you know, this wonderful strategy, which she did. It was just her opponent was making and sinking all of the balls. So, and then the craziest thing is that the team that we were playing was another team out of Chicago. So we actually knew them, which was tough because we said it would have been so much more fun if our brackets had met up where we both were playing for the final match and it being televised, Chicago versus Chicago.
Yeah, that'd be cool. And can you just say the name and tell me a little bit about how your name of your team came about? Because it is my favorite thing to say.
Oh, I don't even know how it came about, but our team name was the Apocalyptics, and it's just a all ladies, you know, team. So you had to throw some lipstick in there. And I really liked, there were so many really creative team names, like the ones from Chicago that we lost to, they were the BBQs because what you hit with the stick is actually a Q. There were, oh man, I mean, Pretty in Purple, they were adorable. Chicks with Sticks, there were the miscues, which when you miscue, it's kind of like you have a bad hit. Yeah, there were just so many really creative stuff that
I love, I'm going to say it again, apocalyptics. I love that.
Yeah.
Everybody say that 3 times because my mom was like, I know what it means, but I can't pronounce it. And I like apocalyptics.
Yeah.
And we just kept trying to practice until and we were laughing. Mom and I were laughing so hard.
Yeah.
You know, she got it, but it was so funny to see even, you know, my 89-year-old mom or your grandmother, like, Alex, this is so cool. My mom was watching it. She was getting her nails done. She had her, I guess, her phone on, and she was making comments. So really, really people from some places that you've traveled before that were following you, that were just giving you so much kudos. I'm so proud of you. I know you didn't come in first, of course, you know, that's the competitive edge in you and anybody that shows up as in a championship like this is like, you know, win or die. And you guys just came back from a low spot of losing to the oldest team, the Pretty in Pink.
And we said we are so absolutely happy to lose to those ladies because they were great sports, they were so talented, and they had us with experience so much, and it was a huge sense of respect that we had for them. So we told them if we were to lose to anybody, we're going to lose to them.
Yeah, good. Did they get anywhere in there?
They I think they might have reached the quarterfinals, but they didn't make it all the way. No. Yeah. Anyway, it would have been great to see them.
Yeah. Anyway, so great to have lived vicariously through you again.
It was so much fun. And thank you everybody for listening in to this episode of Astrological Intentions. Again, I'm your host, Alex Reevy, along with Sandy Reevy, my mom. We love and appreciate you for listening to us. And until we see you next week, have some astrological intentions.
So you finally know you control where you go.